How to blow a bag 101.
We getting there. We're getting to a space.
I feel like it's starting to become a trend. People are trying to get out the league.
I hope this is the hiccup. I hope this is the one thing that was just like, all right, I'm tripping. Let me get myself together.
It's 2 days, relax.
Get paid.
Because if something happens after this, now I'm officially questioning Ja's character.
You can point to a lot of people who got in this space and it was gone that fast. I would hate for the story to be that for Ja Morant. What's good, family? Welcome to a Minor Hoops podcast show with the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm here with the homies, the squad, Dunkman, Keith, B, TK, and we got some guests in the building, man.
Yes, sir.
We got some guests. We got AJ and Trey Boys. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling blessed, bro. I'm glad to be here. It's been
a long time coming. We've actually been trying to make this happen for a minute.
Months, year,
Might be a year.
I don't know, close to it.
So I'm glad to be here. I'll be watching all the time. Like I said, I'll be watching and talking like I got a mic in front of me. So like, it's cool now. They gonna hear me.
No, God,
they never gonna hear y'all, man. So if y'all say something crazy, we gonna put you out there.
It's on wax.
It ain't gonna be nothing crazier than what's already been said.
We got a long track list of wild things.
Facts. 2 weeks ago, Leak put it on wax. Russ ain't going to the Clippers. They haven't won since.
So
we good. Yeah, I'm in the right space.
Glad to have y'all, man. Boys, how y'all feeling? We good? Dunk, you good? You good?
Same day, different day. Same attitude, different attitude.
Okay.
We here, we not here.
We here, we not here. I hear you.
I love that.
Everything everywhere.
Everything everywhere.
How you feeling? Don't make me laugh.
He about to break out in tears. He's not doing
I'm trying to hold on for him.
Oh man. Nah, man, I'm here, man. Not supposed to be here, but I'm here.
See, I told y'all. Y'all ain't want to listen to me.
Nah, shout out to my Carmel School boys, man. We lost a tough game, state semifinals yesterday. Shout out to the boys, man. Very proud of that group of young men. They had a heck of a season. 5 seniors going off to play at the next level. Said that's the goal at the end of the day. So shout out, man. Proud of you boys. Great season, fellas.
All right, man. Shout out to Carmel. Shout out to Carey. Got to get him back on the couch at some point.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
He still thinks LeBron didn't choke in 2011.
That's nasty. We ain't gonna get into that today. We'll hold that for him. We gonna hold that for Carey. He didn't think he choked.
Oh, I thought you said showed up. I was like, y'all thought Braun showed up in 2011?
No,
my bad. Yeah.
He thinks LeBron didn't choke.
Yeah, we could just skip over that.
What was his opinion? Okay,
He blames Eric Spoelstra.
Okay. That's an opinion. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's an opinion. I like the way you did that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's an opinion.
Hey, we got a good show for y'all today. We got a good show for y'all, man. A lot's been going on around the league. And between Ja Morant, KD's debuts, Russ.
Yeah, just Russ. Just leave it there.
Golden State coming back up to the 5th seed.
Yeah.
The Bucks on a winning streak. We getting into all that today. So let's begin right from the top. Let's get the mess out the way. Ja Morant, y'all.
There it is. Okay.
I'm disappointed, man.
How to blow a bag 101.
We getting there. We're getting to a space.
I feel like it's starting to become a trend. People are trying to get out the league.
No, he said this 2 weeks ago?
I've been saying it for a while.
He said, we were talking about the All-Star game.
Oh, yep. 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah.
And we talking about the All-Star game. He said a lot of these hoopers really don't love the game. They love the benefits of it.
Absolutely.
And so they treating this money like seed money to go do whatever else they want to go do. Apparently,
greatest business, greatest job.
Yeah.
Apparently, Ja Morant is not using his seed money well because he's been accused. And it's been pretty alleged. The reports are out that he punched a 17-year-old. Mm-hmm. And this whole story is kind of weird. During the pickup game, Morant repeatedly punched a teenager in the head. I guess the teenager was talking crazy or whatever. I don't know how it went down. As teenagers do. And so that happened. And so Morant claimed self-defense because the kid swung first. But just this morning, Ja Morant shows a very small gun on IG.
Respect.
That jump was.
It was a toy jump.
That's what it looked like.
His girls.
That was his girl's gun.
Nah, it was definitely a purse pusher, but
But he showed it on IG Live. And the timing couldn't have been worse. For those who do know, Ja is on rookie max. I think he's making what, 190 mil?
194, I believe that's what his dad told me.
194 mil. He just signed a shoe contract with Nike. His first shoe is supposed to come out.
The first shoe was whack, but we can continue off. It sounds like a lot of Ja hate happening, but
on top of, regardless of what happened, we won't get into it. Now that Kyrie has moved on from there, the bag is wide open for there to be a guard there.
And
Right.
they picked Ja. They just picked the wrong design for Nike. I think they went with Kobe 2.0, and it just looked like it looked lazy.
Well, I mean, a lot of stuff is kind of Kobe-ish. Even like the last LeBron just came out, everything's very much Kobe-esque.
You're right.
You know what I'm
You're completely right about that. But I was more thinking about the logo design and not the shoe.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just the actual logo design, not the silhouette of the shoe.
And my thing is, again, you have the space. You don't have any market competition almost. The next person right now that's as hot as you might be Luka. But from that guard standpoint, is you cleared out. Everything's cleared out.
Because
With Nike-
trade with Adidas ain't popping. Dame still with Adidas, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, that Nike guard spot was Ja Morant, and this is
and
how you want to.
22 on Instagram.
This is how you want to.
This is how you want to spend it,
Yeah.
bro. This is how you want to use the platform that you've been given. And that you kind of earned. You've earned this space.
Oh, yeah,
You worked
100%
to get this
earned
space,
it.
bro.
Everything.
And so, what are y'all thoughts on everything happening around Ja over the last, I don't know, the punching incident happened, what, 3 months ago?
thought that happened over the summer.
Yeah, I'm about to say happened over the summer.
Okay.
The punching incident happened
Just
over the summer.
resurfaced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got the
We got
details
more
of it
detail
now.
Okay.
Let's not forget the Pacers incident, like that happened where
Oh.
they said,
Yeah.
like the Pacers traveling party or people from the
followed a
Pacers
beam.
team.
Oh, yeah,
And the
yeah.
call followed him with a beam.
Yeah, I dismissed
like-
that one immediately because I was like, no, he didn't.
But now,
Got a beam on the 22.
A beam on the
That is nasty. Oh my
I have
God.
enough range on the 22 to have a beam.
That
With
is
his
nasty,
scope.
bro.
Hey, the 22 extendo is crazy.
Filled with the hollows. That's
So-
crazy.
nah, this is Memphis got to talk. They got to talk to this dude. Like, this is, hey man, we've given you franchise player money. You are the franchise. Like, there's no way around that
Yeah,
conversation.
100%.
Yep.
Is it the team that's kind of like acting in this behavior? Because they have like this bad
It's the bad boys mentality.
Yeah,
almost.
but it's not like
This is what I
it's a
mentioned
rendition
last
of-
pod. I said I used the word A and U to describe them as immature. As a team, as a complete. I've said it for like the last few months that they need vets, like quality vets, and not vets that just gonna sit in the locker room or sit on the bench. I mean, give you 25 to 30 minutes again. Like vets, I'm trying to win something still.
Right.
They don't have any of that, like not an ounce of it. So generally, when you have teams, they're gonna follow their superstar kind of like persona, their characteristics. Ja Morant, 23 years old.
Yep.
This is
Bags, like
just got a bag. This is how he's gonna carry, and this is how he always carried himself in terms of on the court. All the off the court stuff. Now that just makes everything seem like a character issue rather than you being confident or you being. Oh, I'm cool with even saying cocky, but now it's taken to a point of extravagant arrogance
Yeah.
and honestly stupidity. Because I don't know what in the hell would possess you to pull out a gun on Instagram Live, but there is no benefit in doing so.
After
Like
an L.
none at all. You can at least argue exactly after the L.
After an L.
After the L.
And it raises a safety concern because you are an athlete. You're going to be around people. Like, of course, you're going to have a security detail and stuff like that. But for the most part, if you're an athlete, you should be able to move a little bit differently than maybe like a movie star or
Yeah.
maybe like other stuff like that. You should be able to, if I feel like going to VCU's gym and playing, there might be a crowd, but I should be able to go there and be safe.
Yeah.
Now you're inviting street stuff into what you've built.
I think inviting is the key word.
You're inviting, you know what I'm saying? You're waving guns around, stuff like that. And some people are really about that. Not saying that Ja isn't or is or isn't, you know what I'm saying? But some people that you're into town, they go around looking for somebody they can come up on or want conflict with. It's like, bro, why are you doing that? You're well off, and you worked to get here. That's the thing. You worked. You came from a smaller college. You put on. You went crazy in the NCAA
Yeah, this wasn't
tournament.
given to you. This wasn't silver spoon.
You clawed for it.
Yeah, bro. You out of Murray State, bro.
Come on, now.
Like, you said something really, really good. You said we don't know if he's about it or not. it don't matter.
It don't.
Certain bracket.
Once I hit once I hit a level, there's things I gotta cut out in my life, right? There's things I gotta stop because I'm not only putting on for me, I'm putting on for my people. I'm putting on for my family.
You know what it is? It's the American Gangster quote. And nobody call me directly. If you need to get me, you talk to you.
You talk to me.
Never on the phone. Take them glasses off. It's like, all right, stop some of this. I can't say the word I want to say, but stop some of this stuff.
Nah, honestly, and it's top down. I spoke about the organization and things like that, and I mentioned him earlier. Shout out T. Morant, met him once, mad cool dude, but at a time now it's becoming an image thing. Your dad's always on the sideline. Your dad's mad chill. I'm not saying anything bad about T. Morant, but at a certain point, we're always going to be like, it is going to point to the parent because we hear it all the time at local levels. Who raised you? And I'm not saying T. Morant did a bad job. I'm not taking a shot at his parenting skills or ability at all. I'm saying the way that Ja Morant is now representing himself is a bad reflection of what I think T. Morant actually put in great quality work and to raise a decent young man. I don't think Ja Morant is a horrible individual. I'm not trying to villainize or deem him as evil or any of that. But when you do things like this, people are going to say things like these. And that's just representation. You got to carry yourself a certain way.
B?
No, I think we're seeing, and like I said, we've seen this a lot with a lot of athletes. Like when you finally get that taste of fame, that taste of fortune, like one or two things either happens. Either it reveals who you are or it can change who you are. Like, I don't know which one this is for Ja. Like I said, you met T. Morant. I've never met Ja, anybody in his family. I don't know anybody in his circle. I don't know how he grew up and lived. Like, from my understanding, he had a very good childhood from everything.
From everything that I've seen reported.
That's been reported. So it seems like this is a situation, granted, maybe this is a Memphis locker room issue where it's like you've been put in a situation where you've been forced into being the face of a team, the face of a franchise, more money than you could ever dream of possibly. And you have a bunch of people around you who are kind of just, nobody's telling you no. Nobody's telling you, hey, bruh, calm down. Hey, man, we don't do that. Like, move differently. Like, you have a different life now that you need to adjust yourself accordingly for. And it seems like Ja hasn't quite figured that out yet. And I'm hoping he figures it out soon because this continues. If this continues, like, to your point, like, you are going to run into the wrong person on the wrong day, and it's going to lead to one thing happening that can never be taken back. I don't know what that's going to be, but I just know that's never a situation you want to be in where the headline reads Ja Morant accused or Ja Morant ain't here. Yeah. Like, either one of those two things is a horrible look.
Man, even if it doesn't even go down that far, just losing your career, losing tens of millions of dollars because you messed up your image. So they're not going to offer you a contract that would be fitting of your talents. And I'm not saying that is happening. I know we're looking at worst case scenarios, but this is just so stupid because it wasn't like we didn't have Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton. Yeah, playing with guns in a locker room a decade ago. So it's not like we're so far removed from any of the image dealings. And to your point, B, it may seem as if nobody's telling him no. I think the thing I'm worried about the most is if somebody's giving him decent advice and he's just not listening. Yeah. Because while he is a grown man, you're going to do what you want to do. I'm not going to sit here and just assume that nobody's actually trying to steer him in terms of the right direction, in terms of advice. So that's what I'm scared of, is if he's heard everything he's supposed to hear already, and it's already deciding to, I'm still going to flash guns on Instagram and things like that. There's just no benefiting. There's nothing benefiting him in the way he's moving right now. So,
and I got 2 points, right? So one is that there's a difference between trying to be real in the street standpoint, and being right. Okay, so when you come into like certain street culture, stuff like that, people talk about checking in, trying to get to the real stuff. It's like, all right, you cool, like I got it, but I don't feel validated unless I'm really tapping in with like the real, rough boom, 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 boom. So if I'm in Houston, I really got to tap in with this. When I'm in Memphis, I really got to be with these guys.
I got to be seen. I got to be.
That's two totally different lifestyles you're living, because once you start getting to the gutter of it, then taxes and that goes out the window. Yeah, you could be in the spot with this celebrity and these girls and in this environment, but that's real. But is it right for you? It's two different things. On top of, I've personally known by, being when the Wizards came to VCU for the training camp, working with them, man, those guys that sit at the top and with their legs crossed on the bench, hands folded, and just whisper between each other. Elephants never forget. They never forget. It's only a matter of time, right? So if you're not producing, or if there's a scenario where you might have messed some money up here or there, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna call this GM over. Hey man, such and such, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Or certain guys are labeled as a party guy. Don't be labeled as the guy that can't get right from a gun standpoint or boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Because
when you get that label,
that back part of your career, there's a certain reason that guys like, the Udonis Haslams and stuff like that, they're able to sit on the bench well into
That's a good point.
The great area
50
of their
years.
career. You know what I'm saying? 50 years, stuff like that.
Ain't got no business on the court now.
No business. But they have that relationship.
Exactly.
They haven't, peed anybody off or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Elephants never forget. So what's the best for them?
AJ, you got anything?
No, I think the last thing I just wanted to say that everybody was kind of touching base on is like, yeah, we was joking and like we kind of making fun of the situation, but at the same time, it got to the point where everybody got serious. Like, you don't want to see this black man like fumble a big bag.
Facts.
Like, yeah, we gonna laugh about it.
200 M's, man.
It's been in all my group chats, like this stuff. But like, it's cool to have this power. Like, okay, yo, you got a hell of an opportunity that not everybody. I'm not even gonna say not everybody. Rare few get.
less than half of 1%.
So it's like,
Facts.
bro, just. And if you hear this, hey man, just take it easy, big dog.
No, for real. I mean, in terms of, and we can get out on this one. In terms of Ja, he is in a very, very. You said the market's wide open for him, and not only the market in terms of his Nike contracts and anything like that, but him just as a basketball player, marketability. Like, kids love Ja. We had that conversation not too long ago. Like. The Ja shoe and how big it would be because of the kind of person that he is, right? And his charismaticness and all that and third. Like, we look charismaticness. My bad.
Same difference.
I was right there with you, big dog.
But because of his charisma and all that in the third, we knew kids were going to gravitate to this kind of superstar.
Absolutely.
Especially black kids, black young boys.
Absolutely.
Bro, whether you asked for it or not, there's a level of responsibility that comes along with being the face of a franchise, the face of the NBA, whether you ask for it or not.
Charles Barkley, man.
Ain't nobody's
role model.
And Charles Barkley could say that.
But you are.
But he still knew. I think to an extent. He said it, but like he still wasn't gonna be moving any type of way.
He threw somebody through glass.
I think whether they want to or not, and Charles really threw somebody through glass.
I tried, Charles. I tried.
Charles was spitting on people. He was a wild boy.
Charles off Jane.
But whether they want to or not, because of the marketability of the league, because of the eyes the league grab, it's one of the most popular sports in the world. Mm-hmm. I would say top 3.
Yeah.
Like probably 2.
Yeah, I'll say it's
we're talking soccer and basketball.
It's
Like,
soccer,
yeah,
basketball.
I think it's soccer, basketball.
So like,
tennis.
like
We the only people that care about the NFL.
and because of that, and because of that, there's a responsibility that comes along with just being a face for those young guys, and they're gonna walk around and they're gonna see what the superstars do, and they're gonna think that's what it takes in order to be an NBA player or a superstar in the league or famous, whatever the case may be. Miles Bridges, whatever. Like, you can point to a lot of people who got in this space and it was gone that fast. I would hate for the story to be that for Ja Morant, especially when we're looking at a guy that's so transformational as a hooper. Mm-hmm. Like, we can see him as one of the best players of all time if his career goes on the right path.
And I always talk about it, man. I think we have to continue to create safe spaces for us, whether it be black men, whether it be people, whether it be in general for our culture, because for so many different reasons, all of our high earning things when it comes to entertainment, it becomes a combat sport for us.
Yeah.
Like no other, musicians other than, predominantly black musicians, people of color musicians, do they have to fight and scrap and, be on gang stuff?
Yeah.
Why are we bringing that into the sports realm? It's already a physical sport, but why are we talking about, you can't go outside? Boom, boom. Only in our high earning entertainment spaces is it not safe, and why would we continue to bring that?
Because we have a connection to, and this is just my last thought about this. We have a connection between what's supposed to be real, what's supposed to be street, and then what's black. We're all black men sitting here.
Murky water.
We've all grew up in various different ways. But the connection to the culture is something that always is going to be within all of us. So I think the real issue is that people see street stuff as black cultural things. Yes, and it's not. Like playing with guns and fighting people after basketball games or whatever, that's not black cultural things. Those are things that happen because we're in impoverished neighborhoods and we have systemic racism blocking us off, and we can go down a whole about why we're in environments where stuff like that happen, but that is not black culture. So this isn't something, and this is why it's a very tight line that you try to teeter in terms of kids watching and being role models and things like that, because you could have the Chuck statement of we're not role models, but in reality, especially nowadays, you're an instant influencer. If, like I said the other week, if you just sign an NBA contract and have that money. So just being aware enough to, well, I don't have to be a role model. You don't have to actively encourage kids, because whatever you post is encouraging, Kyrie, to do anything like this. This could just be in your personal life. Like, there's a whole lot of things that people don't see in my own personal life. Ja, you did not have to post that. Right. Like, period. So I just don't want there to be a whole, oh, he's going back to his roots, or it's not black culture to play with guns. Especially to play with guns when you have $200 million and on your contract.
And posting at 22. Post something bigger next time.
Yeah, facts. At least
don't post anything.
At least that, bro. Go I want to see the 22 with the red dot, but that's it.
A rocket launcher or something. I don't know. You better.
Yeah.
Nah, if he posted a rocket launcher,
flex with a grenade. Yeah.
All right, you got it, dog. Okay. You got it, dog. All right.
Nah, facts. Facts.
I ain't saying nothing to nobody with a rocket launcher.
Okay.
Just the fact you got one. Yeah. You had the access to buy that. You know a guy.
Yeah. You're just way too plugged in. Way too plugged in.
Oh man,
that's funny.
So I guess
remember Steve Harvey, James, Michael Jackson. You don't even know who to call to get a truck.
That's wild. Oh my God. Okay. All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's get to basketball, because KD is back. KD is back on the court after the MCL strain. We finally got KD on the court, and he's finally wearing the 35 again, and he's wearing it as a Phoenix Sun.
Yeah.
And
Trey 5.
And in his 2 games with the Suns, I believe he's averaging, let me get it right so I don't get it wrong, 21.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists in 2 games. Now, let's keep some context here. He played the Bulls, and he played the Hornets. All right? So his comeback was definitely strategic.
Very much so.
I like that, though.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah, I like
as
that.
It should be.
Smart move.
Yeah.
That's before you reach.
So what are y'all thoughts, man? Y'all said it should be strategic. Coming back this way was smart. Let's get to it. TK, how do you feel about it?
I said as soon as the trade happened, the fact that the Phoenix Suns were able to keep DeAndre Ayton is what I think is putting them over the top. They didn't have to give up any of their core value that you would generally have to make a move like this. So Devin Booker is going to experience so much more freedom than he has ever had in his entire life. Kevin Durant is going to play with a point guard whose best ability is to make it the game easier for you, to give you the ball when you're already in your spots.
Yeah.
I said a couple weeks ago, this should be Kevin Durant's, in terms of percentage, the least amount of isolations we see with him ever in his career. It should just be straight, get to the spot, pulling up shots, turning over the shoulder and things like that. Not a whole lot of dribbling, not a whole lot of getting to it. You have another guy who can close the games in, and like I said, you have a true big. Kevin Durant, yes, you're 7 feet. With the Brooklyn Nets, you always had to see him play like that pseudo center position where he would be the primary rim defender at times, especially before Nick Claxton really picked up his game, and that's because Ben Simmons sucks. So with the Phoenix Suns, I don't know how else to put that one.
I mean, that's the best way you can say it.
Yeah, like, just say it and continue to go. Yeah,
way to say it, okay.
Yeah, just continue to go. Yeah, I think the Phoenix Suns have been looking great. Granted, gotta have that asterisk. Bulls, Hornets. Can't wait to see their first actual real test.
When is that? Let me.
I think it's Dallas, if I'm correct.
I was about to say they played Dallas today.
That's not a test.
Not defensively, no. Not defensively, no.
Yes.
They played Dallas. tonight. But
fun,
they have the capability to really make this finals push if healthy. Even this year, simply because of the type of players that actually came together, make up around that team. You can put Kevin Durant on any team in NBA history, and I think he'll get 20 easily. Yep. Like, he can just fit into any system that you could possibly name could benefit having a Kevin Durant.
Yep.
So when you have that already, you put him next to a Chris Paul, a DeAndre Ayton, and Devin Booker. I don't know why we aren't screaming super team a little bit louder. But granted, we just have to see how Kevin Durant is going to continue to be off of this injury.
Told you why it's not a super team.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Booker. Devin Booker was like, we only got one All-Star technically. Okay.
And he ain't played for Phoenix yet.
Yeah, he ain't even played for Phoenix yet. But no, this is a super team. I think this is the NBA's probably most, I'm not going to say desired, but spotlighted in terms of super teams of the super teams. This is the one. But I don't necessarily think that guarantees them any kind of winning, though. So we'll see. But they should be able to make a push this year.
I mean, so it's a for sure push year. The cool thing about this for them is that I see maybe two teams in the West right now that might really push them from a defensive standpoint, and that's my question mark for them kind of defensively. Mm-hmm. And it might be a healthy Warriors and possibly a Nuggets team, but the Nuggets really haven't showed me anything crazy.
What haven't they showed you?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, as far as just like Western Conference, like finals per se type thing. Like, let's get over that edge. Like,
you saying trusting them in the playoffs?
Yeah, like trusting them in the playoffs. That's what I mean.
Last time I saw them healthy, they came back from 3-1 twice.
Well,
how long ago was that?
That was 3 years ago.
That was bubble, right?
That was the bubble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My overall point is
that's not that same team.
Yeah.
And the league's not that same league.
I saw that Phoenix team choke a Game 7 last year in one of the worst fashions I've
Hold up, Paul.
possible.
So we can hold on to a good thing for 3 years ago.
I'm just saying.
But the negative from last year. No. That's what you just did, B.
No.
You just said 3 years ago I saw the Nuggets do something
when
great.
They were healthy,
last year,
when they were healthy.
That's not the same team.
What's not the same team?
That
the
Nuggets team for 3 years ago.
You're right. They're better.
We haven't seen this team do anything.
They're better. Are you going to tell me this Nuggets team isn't
No.
No.
You're missing out on the logic behind this. You're attributing a positive to a team that does not exist anymore.
The two guys
to a team that now is completely different.
The two guys that led that run, and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic,
has popped his knee and is now coming back, and Jokic has gotten better.
Still averaging 20 points a game. Is Jokic better?
Yes, I just said he got better.
Thank you.
I'm just saying your logic is not making sense.
My logic is always
to compliment a team from 3 years ago.
Yes.
And then use that to boost things up. Because you do this all the time. You're always like, oh, somebody had a bad playoff series from a year ago. And I would say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, those are all great playoff series, right? Right. But that last recent one is the one you hold the most value to. Now you went back 3 years ago to a different team, different kind of roster and everything like that. And now gave that benefit to this team. All I'm trying to say is your logic is BS consistently on topics like this.
It's not. Even so, because
you know what?
We argue that.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong on the logic I just pointed out? Because Greg points it out sometimes, so I'll throw it out in the air.
You always do, because we argue that point on Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
I'm arguing this point on the Nuggets.
And the Kevin Durant point was always, I pointed to the series where Kevin Durant faced defenses that did what makes Kevin Durant uncomfortable.
I'm just saying you're moving the goalposts each time you want to.
Where teams did make him uncomfortable.
I'm saying you're moving the goalposts each and every time. And I would love for Greg to stitch this together.
So my point has always been consistent. I'm sorry.
No, your logic has been. The point doesn't even matter if the logic isn't make sense.
Okay, so here's the thing. And Taman, you both make sense, okay? And y'all just mad because y'all getting semantics checked.
I'm not mad. It just doesn't.
I gotta be this guy. I gotta be this guy here.
Right or wrong statement. I'm not disagreeing with what he said about the Nuggets. I'm disagreeing with the logic that he comes up with to make the statements about that. I'm not arguing Kevin Durant. I'm not arguing Nets. I'm not arguing Jokic. I'm arguing that how you get to that point don't make sense a lot of times.
What have the Suns or KD for that matter done that gives you more
That's a different question. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm cool with answering that. But that's not what I brought up.
And here's what happened. We
ran with that.
Here's what happened.
Because it happens too many times.
Here's what happened, B. You said, in terms of the whole KD situation, all right, We need to see it. They bring up the Nuggets. They bring up the Nuggets, and what have the Nuggets done? I asked the question. I said, what have the Nuggets not shown you? Then you came back. You mentioned the bubble series when they came back from 3-1. Taman is right to some extent. Yes, you do have your 2 stars there, but the 2 stars aren't the same as what they used to be. The jury's still out on Jamal Murray. That still out. Like he
looks fine.
He looks fine, but we need to see him in the playoffs. We know that.
Okay.
Yes, Jokic is better. That's a fact. But after that, we're looking at a pretty much new core around them. Now, yes, they are leading the mob, but it's a new core. It's a better core, but it's a new core, and the new core has to show up in a playoff series. That's fair. That's fair. The KD Phoenix situation, I get where B is saying.
We said we had to see them 2 weeks. He said that 3 weeks ago. We got to see the Suns. Yes. He said it on wax.
Yes.
But now we don't have to see this new Nuggets team because they're already good enough and better than the team 3 years ago.
All I'm saying is I have more
That's
faith
where my
in
logic
the Nuggets
is at.
than the Suns.
And nobody else is going to say it. I'm right on this. Nobody else is going to say it. That doesn't make sense.
I don't see how that doesn't make sense.
I see the more faith side.
I'm not disputing faith.
So here's the thing.
And that's
not logic.
So let's get to it then.
Okay,
Let's get to it.
But you said,
the logic is they're the best team in the West.
Just said logic, right?
Okay.
That's faith.
Trey said that there are only 2 real contenders for Phoenix.
Fair.
Yeah.
Can we agree on that?
The Nuggets.
The Nuggets and the Warriors.
The Warriors. Healthy Warriors.
Yeah, because the Warriors have been like a week or 2 ago, I wasn't sure, but they made that fantastic push with all stuff. Yeah, 100%.
I'm saying I'm gonna finish my statement in this moment. Because
I didn't get the whole thing.
Go ahead, back draw. I didn't know if I was pitching it or what. But so my statement was that this year could be optimal for them because I see 2 teams that could really, really give them a challenge if they're clicking on all cylinders for the Suns. And my point for that was, I think from a firepower standpoint, they kind of have that. So really I have to see the Suns defensively that would challenge them defensively. Now, offense, they're going to hopefully put it together, stuff like that. I'm saying if everybody's firing on all cylinders.
The Nuggets and the Warriors are going to make a good defensive.
So make them work on the defensive end.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you need to see Phoenix defense.
Play defense.
No. Make them, so yes, that's what I'm saying.
You're saying you're going to need to see Phoenix play defense or need to see a good defense go against Phoenix?
I want to see Phoenix play defense.
All right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Then yes, I
want to see Phoenix play it. That was the end of my statement.
Okay, cool.
That's my bad.
Take it away.
I'll take that.
Take it away. And I get that. Phoenix, we need to see them play because I don't care what anyone says. Charlotte I think LaMelo didn't play that game.
No.
He had already jacked up his
out for the season.
Yeah, so he didn't play. I've never rocked with Chicago.
Victor sweepstakes, baby.
I've never rocked with Chicago.
They are the Victor sweepstakes.
So between those 2 teams, it's like, all right, cool. There's nothing here beneficial to show me outside of how comfortable can KD fit in on a team, which, like Taman said, we already have the answer to that. We already know you can put him anywhere. He's going to get 20 points on like 14 shots. Like that's what he does. He lives off that. But playing against a real team in terms of the cohesiveness that the Nuggets have, the Warriors have, that's what needs to be seen. Because when the games are tighter, when you're going against better competition and better threats on the other end, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. Now we got ourselves a basketball game. Now we got ourselves a basketball game. So what do y'all think about them in terms of what does a 7-game series look like versus Warriors? What does a 7-game series look like versus the Nuggets for the Phoenix Suns? AJ, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say, I like the defensive take of seeing Phoenix, like what he's saying, because I think their offensive firepower is just too much. Like as a unit, like you saying, it's probably the best super team. We need to scream it a little bit more. You got Chris Paul, who I think last game, if we can check, had 2 points. Like, and that's something that he's already naturally going to want to do is give up the ball. So you giving it to Devin Booker, who can create by himself, KD, who can create by himself. But not only that, now you finding a true floor general.
He had 2 versus Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Charlotte. He had 11. 11 versus the Bulls.
There you go. And then 2 versus Charlotte. So you getting a dude who you don't need him to create a shot anymore. I think that was the problem that they needed Chris to go score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He don't need to score no more. Like, he can go get 2 points and we still gonna have 110, 115.
Yeah.
So the true test is, okay, we gonna get the points. Do we get the stops? And I still think, like you said, Ayton is a huge part to say, like, okay, we got a rim protector. We got length on the sides. You hide Chris.
You cannot hide Chris.
I'm saying you try.
You can't.
Not in those two series. Like, and that's my. And I was gonna bring that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm switch hunting on Chris Paul the entire time.
You cannot hide Chris because if you put Chris on the off guard, and especially in that Warrior series, okay, he's not gonna guard Steph.
Nuggets too.
But you got Steph on the floor, you got Poole on the floor, you got Wiggs on the floor, you got
Clay on the floor, and then Dre. You have your whole death lineup on that floor,
bro. That's murder. Yeah, that's murder. And then on the other end, I understand Chris Paul is.
He's not going to make that defender work as much on the other end as an individual. Now, in terms of initiating the offense and playmaking and things like that, he's still going to make them work. He's an intelligent guy. But I hear exactly where you were going with that.
Right. Yes.
He ain't 25 piecing nobody up. Like, so you feel it on the defensive end.
Right. The impact is not there for Chris Paul the way we would want it to be.
Yes. And that's why Kevin is so important, because you're not going to get that 25 from him. You wasn't going to get it when they lost it in the finals. Now you got something I can just give it up.
And so
backup
and so Cameron Payne.
He just came back too.
Yeah, I'm about to say he was hurt.
And so this is where B's point has a little credence, because B is saying, all right, we've seen what this looks like, where we have two quality scorers, elite scorers. I give Devin Booker elite.
Yeah, he's elite.
Elite scorer. Elite scores, and then you got a guy where the point guard situation is a little iffy. At minus James Harden. This is minus James Harden.
No, I'm talking.
And so
I'll defend Chris Paul after this.
Which is crazy.
You're gonna defend Chris Paul?
That's
nasty.
Here's my hot take, because I like where he's going with this. Here's my hot take. Even with them possibly getting past those teams, I think in the final series against
Celtics,
Bucks. The Celtics or the Bucks. I think they
packing them up. No, I think they're packing them up.
I think they get ran through.
Yes,
yeah, that's why we focus on the West.
Packing them up, bro.
I think, honestly, the one thing I will say about the Bucks, I have to see Chris be Chris, because I don't believe the Bucks can get to can even get to the finals if Chris Middleton isn't Chris Middleton.
But then you show up with the Celtics. They ran through.
They get ran through. They're gonna lose in 5. Gentlemen's. Yeah, gentlemen's.
Them boys are
sweep. That's what you said?
I'm not saying a sweep. I didn't say that.
They might maybe 6. I don't know. I believe in KD. He'll get 6.
So I'm speaking. I don't think they get out the West.
That's fair. That's a fair statement too. Yeah.
I think the Nuggets and Golden State both are the worst matchup possible for them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Not because of personnel per se. Granted, personnel always plays a factor. But it's going to come down to play style. Mm-hmm. The Nuggets and Golden State both play a very motion-heavy offense. Nobody has been... I've asked a ton of people, and maybe y'all can give me an answer. Who's the best point of attack defender on Phoenix now?
I would say Okogie.
Okay. It's Josh Okogie. Now, and here's the thing about it. I actually like Okogie. I've liked him for years. I think he's a solid player in the league. He's been playing phenomenal for them the last
25.
couple years. Like, he's shooting like 46%.
Shout out Josh Okogie.
Shout out Josh Okogie. He's shooting like 46% from 3 like the last 10 games or so. So shout out to him. I'll even give you like, he's a solid point of attack defender. Cool.
Everything on that back end. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
That cool didn't sound so cool.
But here's the part. Like, it ain't even... I don't even have to call it the back end, right? We know what the Nuggets do. Ball goes to Jokic, it's 2-man game, and then everybody's cutting off of him.
Yep.
Is Kevin Durant chasing cutters?
Hell no.
Is Devin Booker chasing cutters?
Chris Paul not chasing.
Is Chris Paul chasing? like you can talk about DeAndre Ayton being a rim protector. Like, DeAndre Ayton had to take Jokic one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, that's already, he's nullified. He can't protect the rim.
He can't do anything else.
No. He can't do both. So Jokic got ball top of the key, guys cutting back door. Is Kevin Durant and Devin Booker really going to be chasing dudes like that the entire game?
Yeah.
I doubt it. Like, that's just not a good matchup.
Nah.
The Golden State is the exact same scenario. Yep. Ball's moving side to side. Who is Devin Booker and Kevin Durant chasing Klay Thompson off pin downs? Are they chasing Jordan Poole? Are they chasing Steph? Who are chasing these dudes? Like, Phoenix is going to be...
games.
I will put money. Phoenix is going to be one of the slowest paced teams in the NBA for the rest of this season.
I believe it as well.
because I'm sorry, you can sit here and say this is going to be the least amount of ISOs Kevin Durant get, and it may be, but it's still going to be predominantly ISO. Like, it's going to be them coming off pin downs into a shot, mid-range game, turn, shoot. Like, to me, that's isolation. You're getting into a spot.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Like, that's who Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are, and they are amazing at it.
Amazing.
But
it looks eerily similar to what B talked about happened with Brooklyn. And that's the credence that I was going to.
Absolutely. And the only thing that might be able to save is the fact that Chris Paul he's a much better floor general than anybody Kevin Durant has ever played with. I
think what might save him too is the fact that Chris Paul is not in that prime kind of condition where he can compete or even get upset about what Devin Booker or Kevin Durant is doing as how James Harden was in that locker room.
And this is where we saw the problem come in last year with them and we saw this, it started in the Pelicans series, where teams started pressing Chris Paul full court, getting the ball out of his hands, making Devin Booker run the offense. Like, that's going to be the same strategy this playoffs. Like, teams are going to pick up Chris Paul. They're going to wear him out 94 feet. They're going to make him work for every inch up the court. And at some point in the series, he's going to be eventually just say, you know what, Devin? You got it, bro. And granted, Kevin Durant's on the other side, so you won't key on Devin as much. But now, what is Chris Paul?
Yeah, he ain't no off ball.
Like, he ain't an off ball dude. Granted, Chris Paul is a much better shooter than Westbrook or whatever. Like, you can't completely leave him open. Yeah. But like, you'll live with Chris Paul in an off ball scenario. That's not where he's effective. DeAndre Ayton, to me, is a question mark because he wasn't happy with his role before Kevin Durant.
We talked about that, yeah.
Like,
and that's
he
why I
got
was surprised.
4 shots last night. You tell me y'all need this man to be an elite rim protector. He's going to have to average 15 rebounds in the playoffs, but he's only going to touch the ball 4 times on offense?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Let's look at it right now. I mean, they're in that 4th spot, so the 5th seed is the Warriors.
It's the Warriors.
That's a nasty first round.
That's a nasty matchup, bro.
It's a nasty first round.
All right. It's getting nasty in here. For Chris Paul and the Suns, I got to do some defending. All right. It's getting nasty. Hey, I agree with half of B's statement in terms. I think the Nuggets pat the Suns out of here. I don't really got much for that. The Warriors is really interesting to me because I've seen the Warriors play atrocious basketball at times this year. That
is a fact.
I'm not talking about in history. And I've seen them play beautiful basketball. Now, granted, lineup changes, injuries, that's been able to happen. But the Warriors haven't been able to create a consistency within that team this year,
at
all year. So I'm looking at the Suns. Y'all have a new team. Y'all don't have much chemistry, consistency, or something like that. If I had to pick the two and I'm the Suns, I pick the Warriors every day of the week, twice on Sunday for that playoff matchup. I think there's a better feel about Kevin Durant going up against an older team, and like his old team, and just overall in general about the play styles of how it's gonna go back up and down the court. You're not gonna have to worry about Jokic controlling the floor, the big inside out, somebody you honestly aren't even gonna be able to stop.
Yeah.
They can have a cold shooting after if it's the Warriors. It can happen. There's just different levels of ways of that affecting the entire series. I think the Nuggets beat them 5 or 6 each and every time if you play it out. So to B's point, another one, I don't got the Suns getting out the West this year. I'm going to love watching these games and everything like that, but I don't have them actually getting out the West because I got the Nuggets this year. That's just what my money's on. But in terms of that matchup with the Warriors, it's not as easy and as light as everybody thinks.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we've been kind of getting romanticized over the last week or two with the Warriors picking it back up, getting out of that play-in position and back into a playoff position.
Yeah.
Understanding they are the defending champs. And mind you, B and I have been saying this the whole year. If the Warriors are healthy and good going into the playoffs, then they're going to be one of the biggest threats in the West. And I still hold that to be true.
Yeah.
But now I'm just wondering how likely it is they actually go in fully healthy, fully ready, with enough games under them where I'm not looking at all what happened this entire year over the next 15 games, because they're still not a great road team at all. So you can chuck both of those games away early on the road. I don't really have the Warriors being able to make that push past Phoenix. It's gonna go 6 or 7, but I'm gonna put my money on Phoenix in that series.
I'm curious. I'm curious about Golden State for this reason, because they're 7-23 on the road. Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, 3rd worst.
It's abysmal.
4th worst is really bad. 7-23. I'm curious how many of those 30 games they actually play with a full roster. I don't know.
Well, you got to realize they started the year off with that horrible road record. So we're not looking at 7 and 23 in terms of a bad injury stretch. They started off the year,
but let's
like 3 and 17 or something like that.
But even in that context, they were playing with guys that are no longer here.
Yeah,
that's fair.
They were trying to see if they could fit James Wiseman into a situation. They were trying to figure out who else. Those young boys, Moody's situation. They were trying to get Kuminga to pick it up. Poole started off slow.
But that's where the headache comes from. Bad. That's not lack of talent you're talking about.
No, it's not lack of talent.
And I'm saying with that talent that they had before any kind of trades or movement, they shouldn't have been that bad. There's other things going around awry with the Warriors.
They shouldn't have been that bad, no. But at the same time, there is some context to, all right, how much of it was them, all right, we in a little championship, low, and they just kind of rocking with that. Then we actually have the injuries. Boom! Now the injuries happen. So now they have no consistency on the road.
The effective chemistry from Draymond punching Poole.
That's all. You can add that in there. Boom! Add that too. Like all that's a factor you can add in.
And then the fact that Steve Kerr is probably having his worst coaching year as a Warrior since that D'Lo year.
He's having his worst coaching year.
We can blame that year on injuries.
You could say he's having his worst coaching year behind an injury-laden team that's been missing their number one guy. And we said it.
And number 2, I agree.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins.
And so you miss your 1 and 2 on. I say your 1 on the defensive end in Wiggins, and now Draymond Green's normally been the one, but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
Warriors fans, don't kill me. And then your number 1 guy on offense in Curry, that the offense runs through, and we said how dependent they are on his offense because of the system.
Yeah.
You can blame that on Curry, whatever the case may be, but that's the case.
Yeah.
All that's been taking place.
Now, you're still sitting at 5th seed. Got to get that compliment there.
They're sitting at the 5th seed, and they're doing it while Curry's sitting on the bench, and the guys that are stepping up are always the guys we always look to in terms of playoff situation, because we know we're going to get out of superstars. For the most part, we know we're getting out of superstars. They're going to give us 25 for the most part.
Yeah.
30 when they got to elevate.
Don't call them Game 6 Clay for no reason.
Exactly. We know where they're getting. We know what we're getting out of them. The Dante DiVincenzo's, the Jonathan Kumingas, the Loonies, the Ty Jeromes. Now Patrick Baldwin's getting some minutes. I saw other night.
He was super.
So those guys are elevating.
Time.
They're playing quality time towards the end of the season where everybody needs to win, because we see the games back. We see the splits. Like,
it's half game, 1 game. Back from 5th to 9th.
It's tight, bro. We need all of these.
Yeah.
And they're playing. Now, 2 guys are not playing right now. Steph Curry, Gary Payton, and Wiggins still out.
Like, Gary Payton is the real,
Gary Payton just got back there.
He did.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to,
But my point is,
He ain't played since he got there, right?
Yeah, he hasn't played. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
But my point is simply, Gary Payton is that X factor. Because if you're telling me Gary Payton is healthy going into the playoffs, you're now asking, that's where I start looking at that Phoenix series going, all right, you got to beat Wiggins, Gary Payton, Kuminga, Drake. Now we have a ton of dudes we can just throw at you.
Exactly. It's going to be a tight one.
It turns into hell for Phoenix. It turns into hell, bro.
It's Gary Payton guarding Chris Paul 94 feet. It's Wiggins guarding KD on the wing. And then, or matter of fact, it's Draymond guarding KD. And then it's Wiggins guarding Booker.
I mean, as you attested to it too, it's going to be a fight between play styles. You said the Phoenix is going to slow it down. I'm looking at it at the opposite end. You're looking at Warriors flying up and down the court, which they do extremely well, world class, one of the best in history. I'm looking at the Warriors, and their general problem is having to go up against an athletic big that's actually offensively skilled, because Aiden is offensive. That's probably the best thing about his game, which is,
get the touch.
Is he going to get the touch? I think Phoenix would be stupid not to. And I don't think Monty Williams is that bad.
All I'm going to say is,
I think for a winning situation,
that's not enough basketball to go around.
To get Aiden 17, 18 points in those situations against the Warriors. I think
he's going to need more than that.
It's not enough basketball to go around.
No,
he's going to need 25 plus.
I think if Aiden ends up with 18 and 11 against the Warriors,
not enough basketball to go around.
I think they're going to be sitting pretty.
That's not
enough.
All I'm going to say is,
considering if everybody else does what I think they were going to do.
But the point is for Aiden, especially now, to get 18 and 11, that means you have to take shots away from Booker and KD to some extent. Because their offense is going to be tailor-made for KD and Denver. It already is for the most part. A lot of action is tailor-made for them.
Sitting here thinking that they can't chip. I mean, we're talking about 2 of the most efficient scorers in the NBA right now, and talking about taking away shots from them. And it's not like they're volume scorers in terms of needing to get up 1,000 shots
But
to
I
get
would
there
say
2025.
that is what Golden State has done better than almost every team of this era is they turn everybody into a volume score.
Yes.
Like
Make them compete with them up and down.
We watch them do it to Luka. We watch them do it to Ja. We watch them do it to KD. We watch them do it to LeBron. We've watched them do it to every superstar in this era.
That's fair.
So that's why I'm just saying, like, I don't like I'm gonna strictly say if Gary Payton Jr. is healthy. If he's not healthy, I think it's way more of a toss-up.
Yeah.
If he's playing and healthy, I don't like that matchup for Phoenix.
Now, I
That's a
actually completely
struggle.
forgot that Gary Payton is actually going to be able to play. I know he got dismissed because of the physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk about pace again. If I'm a Warriors team and I'm coming up and I'm scoring very fast, and you're talking about let's get the ball to DeAndre, who plays at a slower pace.
And I don't want for the viewers at home. I am not saying Phoenix should play through DeAndre Ayton in this playoff series.
But I'm saying
that is no way in hell what I'm saying.
gonna be so
I am saying DeAndre Ayton, if he can wind up with 18 and 10 in that series, playing the third fiddle, they're sitting pretty. But I just didn't. My bad for cutting you off. I just didn't want to be misunderstood. Everybody's like,
man, disclaimers. He dropping disclaimers.
DeAndre for them boys. I
through
was like,
DeAndre.
this is getting shaped like I'm defending. I started defending Chris Paul. I didn't even get to there yet.
So again, the pace, and now you're making people be volume shooters and possibly, if it turns out that way, possibly play from behind in a scenario or in a game where Steph's running around
and you're already not having a pretty fast pace.
We're talking mid-range versus
pool
threes
parties
here.
over there playing for the bad joints in the first row. Like, it gets nasty.
Not the baddies in the first.
And now you're having them those quick shots, and you're not going to get those same points from DeAndre if they're kind of having to play from behind with a 3-point shooting team that's going stupid.
Those possessions are heavier now. Those possessions heavy.
Well, I'm looking at Phoenix, and that's why I said I don't think Monty, because at the end of the day, I think specifically in the last couple of seasons, I don't think Kerr has been that much of a phenomenal coach. While I'm sitting here saying that he's going to out-coach Monty, or that Kerr can't mess it up himself. That's a factor too. Now, granted,
I will give you that.
It is way closer than. Well, no, I think it's pretty close. I think we're all agreeing this is going at least six.
At least.
So I agree with Wanda.
Like I said, if Gary Payton doesn't play, I'm flipping a coin.
Yeah, I know. I respect that. And I'm cool with that. If Gary Payton, because Gary Payton is the defender that we all think he is. Yep. He is the athlete that we all think he is. I mean, we all thought that Golden State should have paid him instead of just letting him go to the Trailblazers. Yeah. Clearly, it worked out in their favor in the end, but yeah, I say Suns. I ain't gonna talk about it too much, but Suns, Warriors, it goes 6 or 7, and I'll take Suns, but it is really close.
Yeah. It's going. What you about to say?
No, I was going right where you was going. I think it's tough. Like, regardless of what happens, it's going to be good basketball. And then at this point, like, I think we had a in-depth conversation of like, yo, it's going to have to be some coaching going on this. It's not where it's just like, yo, it's a overpowering team that's just going to get them out the way. It's like, nah, it's how you going to play
Steve
this
Kerr,
game.
You got to make an adjustment.
Yeah, exactly.
Monty can do it. Monty can coach.
Monty can.
I'm gonna bring up one thing. I'm gonna say this.
Monty ain't double Giannis, man.
I'm gonna bring up.
The biggest piece.
I was gonna bring up a similar situation. We watched in the finals, and Boston is younger. They were no. First year head coach. They were
talking about Joe Mazzulla when he didn't.
I mean Udoka.
I mean, oh yeah, excuse me.
We watched.
Jeez, yeah.
We watched them have an advantage on the block. We watched them have an advantage, and they did not take advantage of it.
Yeah, I was going crazy.
And because you go back to the pacing, all that didn't fit. I can definitely see DeAndre Ayton looking around for the basketball, having quote unquote an advantage on Loon, which I don't know how much of an advantage that is, but I don't know how much of an advantage that is because Loon can defend, bro. Like that, yeah. I can see it definitely happen into a space where we're looking at them like, okay, y'all did it again. Like, y'all didn't go to where y'all advantage was. And quite honestly, do I want to go to DeAndre Ayton? Do I want to go to Kevin Durant? I don't care who's in front of Kevin Durant. I'll take my money.
People at home, you go to DeAndre Ayton third. I just want to point that out again. I never said either or.
In the right situation, you go to fourth.
You find a way.
It's definitely
if he's
KD,
not third
Book,
now, it's
KD,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Book, then D. It's
maybe go to him fifth.
I don't know, man. I feel like DeAndre Ayton gets a whole lot of disrespect.
Yeah. I need you to get the.
He
I need
gets
you
a
on the
lot
glass.
of disrespect. I'm not saying he's the type of talent that you have to force feed in terms of like, no, we have to get him these shots. But I am going to take the opposite end. You said that the Celtics couldn't sustain that play in terms of like moving Al Horford and how I think they were playing phenomenally and were up, and they start losing that series when they decided to go away from what had them up. But we've been on that topic for a long time. America, let me know what you think. I'm right, but we can continue.
Last thing. We're talking about the sexiest matchup. I say that they might get packed up by a Nuggets or a Golden State faster if they have to see another team that wears them down from a guard standpoint, and they're injury prone too. I said they get packed up faster.
So if it's second round,
if it's a second round matchup,
them versus Sacramento will be a very fun series. I'm picking the Suns.
Okay, I was about to say, like, what are we talking about?
Way too many question marks on the board if they lose to the game.
But they not lose, but they get wear down. It's an older Chris Paul, injury prone.
You can get out in 5 and 100%.
Sacramento plays a very similar style to Golden State. Like,
they gonna get up and down the floor.
That would be very interesting just to watch. I would pick Phoenix, but that would be a fun series.
All right, y'all. We'll have to see, but shout out to KD. Glad to see him back on the court. That's one thing we can all agree on, man. Anytime KD's
basketball's
playing,
better.
Basketball is better.
So, let's move on. This ain't even on the docket. Hey, TK, you think LeBron faked that? I heard it pop.
It's two things I'm really mad at. One, I got an answer. Two, you asked me. Like, so now I'm the guy who has to say on the pod whether LeBron is faking it or not. Like, if this gets clipped, it's all, well, TK said, I was minding my business.
Call me ESPN.
As somebody who has ruptured his knee twice, broke his leg twice.
Jeez Louise.
I've heard pops, I've heard cracks.
Static shock.
I can't say whether he did or did not hear a pop, but I can say this. I've never heard a pop and it wasn't. Mm-hmm. So my telltale for it is, what are the doctors going to say happened? Because if there was nothing that would induce a pop, something tearing or something like that, then I am going with LeBron, you're tripping. Mm-hmm. But if it is, hey, LeBron's out, he has a torn or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, he spent $3 million on his body. It could be on his ears. He could hear. Like, you have supersonic hearing or something like that. But long story short, I had to preface that so I don't get killed. Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
I don't believe he heard a pop. And if he heard whatever it wasn't from his ankle. I don't believe he heard a pop from his ankle.
Okay.
Now, I'm waiting for the full list from the doctors. I don't ever want to be that guy to say that you're not as injured as you are.
Yeah. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
I'm the injury expert on here, so it makes sense.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot. The Lakers are sitting in the 11th right now.
I thought it was... Oh, yeah, 11th.
We lost last night, so
yeah.
we had won last night, we would have been 10th.
Yeah.
Sitting in the 11th spot.
I came with an apology ready and everything.
I'm listening, man.
Nah, we 11th. What are we talking about? We're 11th.
Apology for what?
I said because I didn't believe we were going to get the 10th seed. I definitely don't believe we're going to get the playoffs, but I said I don't think we're going to get the 10th seed. So
I think we're in good position, but that's just me.
Yeah, hey, I think there's a road there.
We're half a game out. Like, we're 5-2 since the All-Star break. Like, we're in good shape,
and people keep losing.
And people keep losing.
We're sitting here. I'm looking at it, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. And
without LeBron and D'Lo,
Utah lost last night versus OKC. Pelicans. We have no idea the timetable on Zion. We can just assume he's not coming back.
Portland lost a game they shouldn't have, but whatever.
And the Clippers, let's get to it. The Clippers are 0-5.
Jesus.
Since they brought in Russell Westbrook.
I ain't even gonna front. If somehow Lakers get a chip this year, Russ gets a chip. Y'all know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Russ gets
my man's
ring.
a champion. He's a champion. Champion.
And
I'm putting my Russ cape on no matter what.
The Lakers getting a chip.
It's kind of like the weird thing I'm rooting for is all right, Lakers, I don't believe that we're gonna really make anything pop if we get into the playoffs. But if we do,
speaking of pop,
let's go ahead and get Russ that chip. That would be great, right?
That's crazy.
That would be great.
Talking about
NBA champion. That's a champion. The championship point guard.
Yes. We talk about
what kind of story got to be written for
we
that?
talk about the bubble ring a lot and everything, the bubble being fraudulent and all that. And I've heard that take a ton. If Westbrook got a ring
yes, sir.
from this Lakers run,
you can't shut me up.
It's the most fraudulent ring in NBA history by far. and you know it, don't sit
on everything. If I'm Russell Westbrook, on my mama, I'm wearing that ring every day. On my mama, I'm wearing it every day.
I'm a champion.
And Westbrook
People were talking way too crazy.
I'm a champion.
Way too crazy.
Where's my?
I would have been like, yo, if y'all weren't able to trade me for some reason, y'all was gonna make all of this happen. Nah, give me my ring.
So because we got rid of you, you're a champion. You're a champion.
I was an asset in some kind of way.
I influenced this team.
I was an asset in some kind of way.
No, positively.
If we traded you before the season, we would be champions. We'd be a 4 seed right now.
That's a hypothetical.
That's if.
I know what happened after y'all got rid of me.
I watched this roster.
And what's the if?
Huh?
Yeah, if it was a fifth.
Westbrook with any other superstar winning a championship. That's
if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
That's an if.
Exactly.
Nah, but that was just my play. Lakers ain't winning the chip this year, but if they do, that is what I'm rooting for. I want to see them at ring night. I want Clippers, Lakers, game 1 of 2023-24
in Staples.
In
I
Staples.
see them in a plan.
No, crypto. It's not Staples no more. My bad.
Oh yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't.
I'm sorry, I can't disrespect.
I can't disrespect.
Yeah, crypto sucks.
Acknowledge Russell Westbrook as a champion after that.
I'm very much boomer over here. I'm very much team boomer. Clippers are 0-5 since bringing.
They're the 8 seed now, ain't they?
They are the 8 seed. They went from 4 to 8.
33 and 33, sitting at 500.
That's crazy.
A perfect 500. 18 and 18 away, 15 and 15 at home.
Now,
man, them last 3 spots are suspect to me. Mavericks, Timberwolves,
Clippers.
Clippers.
Teams feel when Russ comes in.
Very sus.
It's like you got this faith for Russ, but
You love Russ.
bro,
that love and respect.
You want it to work, man.
Bro,
Like, there's a Hall of Famer, you guys. Don't touch it.
Like
that's what it got to be.
you doing this? That's pain.
it's like, yo, that's your man's. Don't pass him the ball.
Like
Five.
serious.
It's like we've all been there before. It's like,
Yeah,
yo, like,
that's my man's,
I
but-
mess with him. Just like, yo,
We're trying to win.
if it gets turned up in here and we're not up by at least 3 scores, don't pass him the
swing
ball.
my way,
no,
bro.
facts.
Swing
Yeah,
my way.
like I don't want him to touch it.
Nah, yep.
No,
Keith, not to cut you off, Greg.
Go ahead.
All right. Oh, Keith don't got a mic, so I'm gonna tell the story. So Keith, we go to our friend Harrison house. Shout out Harrison. Shout out Lenny. This is after high school graduation. I mean, we still got like the loafers on and everything. Greg, I think you were there. I think you had to change your clothes. We weren't at Harrison house. We were at Jalen's. I remember. He had a backyard court, right? So you know what we do? We play twos. Yep. I got slacks on, shoes on, and everything. All right. I knew I couldn't waste my time guarding Harrison, but I knew Keith was on my team. Keith wasn't gonna give me anything in terms of anything. But people back home, he's shaking his head like, nope, I wasn't gonna give a damn thing. And the strategy was, all right, you just annoy Harrison. As soon as we get the ball, you just get out the way. If you get the rebound, just give it to me and get out the way.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's becoming like Russ is feeling like Keith. You're my mans. I'll run these games with you. But when it's winning time, you got to get out the way. And that is really kind of heartbreaking because we saw MVP, like, KD just left me. I'm going to do it on my own. And now it's just...
I want to win with you.
Go ahead.
That's your homie. You're not going to disrespect the homie.
bro.
I want to win with you.
acting like this is new information.
Because
Because it's
I don't
love.
think it's new.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the guy.
It's love.
It's
You keep
love.
going back to it. It ain't new, but
like-
like I love my
I
dog.
wanted to win with you, dog.
Nah,
I
facts.
can't take you here. I can't
Facts.
bring you.
You know, like that addict that you know gonna hit the pipe again. But like that's family. That's family.
I had to look at Keith because Keith know market.
I'm just
Time
saying.
stamp. Hey,
So nah.
I need a bleep.
We gonna sit here and act like we don't know what I'm
Show.
talking about. I have family.
I just told him the market, bro. That's all I told him.
I have family, loved ones, extended loved ones who, yes, have hit the pipe.
Wanda.
And me, I'm like, I know how to treat you from now on. Like, if you're not gonna come inside my crib, and if you come inside my crib, all eyes on you at all times.
don't leave
Stay away from my
PS5
PS2. Like, whatever it is, I don't care what it is.
Oh God, they was selling
Yeah,
the PS2.
whatever it is.
He talking about let it ride. You're a sick man, bro. I'm gonna find it.
They was getting the PS2 going for the
No,
press.
but that's what I'm saying. But that's how Russ feels now. It feels like, dang, I love you so much, but at the end of the day, like, I can't help you as much for some reason. And I'm a big Russ supporter. I'm sitting here the whole season been supporting Russ with you, but that is the general public, like how they're treating him.
Does he get pushed out next?
Lamar Odom.
I said if he had a bad end of this year, if he didn't get picked up by the Clippers, I would have put money on it. He got Melo next year.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
looking
think-
at.
Now I don't know.
I think we're in a space, and Brian's laughing because he's been talking about this all season.
I've been talking about this for 4 years. I said
3 years ago he was gonna get the AI, bro. He's gonna get the AI. We're gonna look, man. You're averaging 25 points. Oh man, you're averaging a triple double. 2 years later, man, he's out the league. What happened? I don't know.
Bro,
Look,
Dame was
man.
talking. Did you see the Dame?
The Dame.
Yeah,
the
sometimes
Dame
it ain't always greener. The grass ain't always green on the other side.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I understand what Dame is saying because Dame, I like both those guys. I like Russ.
Yeah, real solid dude.
Real solid person. His game just didn't translate, or it didn't evolve the way we wanted it to evolve. It didn't evolve. Dame, holding true to Portland for whatever reason, because it's above me at this point. I do not
60
know.
M's a year that's coming up. What are we talking about for whatever reason?
Bro, he got
Hey,
shots.
look,
I mean, you can get traded now and still get the
You can
M's.
get the money, dog. You can money and get out.
He's talking about why he's still there now.
in Portland.
Might as well.
In Portland. Because we know that he can go to a better situation and be a championship type of guy.
Easy.
He's a championship player. That's what we're saying.
So
all Greg said is Westbrook hasn't exuded championship caliber like player characteristics in terms of his ability on the floor. Damian Lillard has, and they're in opposite situations or opposite routes.
Opposite routes. And so it's very weird to see how they both go about the end of their career, because one is being stubborn in his game style, right? One is like, I'm not changing for anybody. I'm me. And you got in the situation for the Clippers, and I will say this: Kawhi has spoken about Russ, and he said he's been actually quite happy with the way Russ has played so far. He's not doing too much. He's not trying that hard. He's getting us the ball in our spots for the most part. Like, I can't be too mad at Russ. But at the same time, it goes back to everyone's point. We're looking at a Hall of Famer, and we wanting a Hall of Fame impact. And it's not there anymore. And that's so disappointing to me. And for those who know, I if there's anybody in the room that wears a cape for Russ bigger, I don't. It's me.
Nobody in this room.
Not in this room.
Nah, I ain't gonna hold you.
Definitely.
That's my guy, but it ain't my guy.
I'm not on this side of the couch.
Like I will. Like I've been Team Russ from day one, and so seeing the way this is playing out, like I said, you got to be aware. And we talked about Russ. At this point, we talked about Melo about the same way. Even AI said at some point, players got to be aware of who they are, who they're becoming, how the league is changing around them, and adapt with it. And Russ has not done that well.
Or at all.
And to be 0-14 in your last 14 starts.
15.
0-15.
You're such a hater.
Just add. It's just one more.
It happened. Like, you want me to deny the fact that they played like
You just counted another game. You could have moved up the calendar and forgot about that. Whatever, man. You know what I mean?
The calendar, it was last night.
You want to change literally dates and time itself. You're trying to shift time and space itself to give Westbrook a compliment.
That's what happened with stats, man. They
He had a good game last night. Let's say that.
He did have a good game last night.
0-5 in their last 5 games, and 0-5 since he became a Clipper. I saw Ty Lue's face on the sidelines, and his face essentially looks to me at some point like I told you so. Like, I told y'all.
I don't think T. Lue wanted Russ.
He didn't.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
I don't think so.
But I was saying, I didn't see any reports, but I don't think he did.
PG wanted Russ.
PG.
But
And I
because
think PG
he had to
convinced
give him
people.
that my bad. Like, I went to OKC, tried to hoop with you. I re-signed in your face and told you, oh, it's going to be all good for at least 2-3 years. And then I rocked in the middle of the night and left you. So, yeah, I feel like PG was trying to basically say, like, all right, I'm going to look out for my mans again.
Because he know it's about to be out.
I think it's the feeling everywhere.
So this is the thing with Russ, right? And once again, by all accounts, Russ is a very solid dude, especially in the locker room. Seems like a really good teammate.
Yeah.
Players love him. And that's great. Like, I really rock for Russ in that instance. Like, I love anybody who's a great teammate to some extent. But it feels like, and granted, y'all all have you probably all have friends. You all probably played with a guy like this, where when you're playing with him, you're kind of like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And then you get in the locker room, you dap up, everything's good. And then you go on break for like 3 weeks, and you're like, man, I miss my boy, man. Like, I miss my dude. Like, man, he was balling that night.
That's the homie, yeah.
That's my homie, bro.
It was just one shot he missed.
Just one shot. It's nostalgia. You start thinking about, oh man, he's my boy though. Like, we can make it work. And
It's
then
like that ex, man.
And then practice come on Monday. Right back. And then you watch him, you're like,
That's why I was upset.
That's why I didn't.
It clicked to you.
That's why
You're
I'm
like,
happy
yeah.
break started.
Yeah.
I love the idea of you, but the application of you.
It
No,
never
facts.
hits
Facts.
the way it's supposed
No,
to.
dead serious.
Yes, that's a relationship.
You just see the
Even
shorty
happened with
scrolling
talent.
on Instagram, and it's like, man, you go to the DMs, and then you see your last conversation you had with her, and you're like, oh,
That's
explains.
yeah,
Even when I
that's-
tried to do something with you, it's like, all right, cool. Like we can have this conversation. This is amazing. Like, all right, let's go do something. Oh,
Yep, it clicked. Yep.
I can't.
Now I
with you.
remember.
I remember.
You're just pretty. Like,
Like
out
that's
to you,
what
Pretty Russ.
that's what Russ was
pretty,
for PG.
pretty privilege.
That's
Pretty
what
privilege
Russ
got
was
him
for
his
PG.
last vet.
Pretty
Well, not
privilege
his
is
last vet,
crazy.
man. Like the most previous Batman. So I don't know, man. I'm still rooting for Russ.
Absolutely.
Some bright spots. 27 points last night against the Sacramento Kings. They lost by 1 yet again. The Kings just have the Clippers numbers last week.
No, Sacramento's just good.
Sacramento's good.
I mean, but
Sacramento's good.
beating the Clips by 1 again. Like they went into double overtime that first time, like 10 days
That's true.
ago.
Are you telling me a Russell Westbrook floor general led team?
I'm not saying
didn't
the
close
Clips
game?
should
That
have
wouldn't
beat the
shock me.
Kings. I'm just saying
That
by
wouldn't shock
1.
me.
All right, bro.
I'm
He
just
gonna-
saying
he
that
gonna
the
be-
score is by 1.
I'm not.
I'm just creating
Did you see how the game ended? Did you
similarities.
see how the game ended?
I'm not about to do
Did
this.
you watch
bro.
how the game ended?
I'm not about
Which
to do
one?
this,
The
bro.
first one or the second one?
The second one, last night.
Oh yeah, I saw the highlights of the game and then yeah.
No, did you see the actual last?
Nah, live one? Nah, I didn't watch it live. I went to
Go
sleep.
watch the last play of the game, and then all you gonna look, and you gonna look at me and be like,
It's gonna be that.
Oh
like,
no.
you looking at me right now, like, cause you know it's true.
Whatever, bro.
Exactly.
Like, this your girl? It's like, nah, that's not her.
No way.
That's not the one I know.
That's not her. That's
Are we
not
saying
her.
we're not claiming Shorty now? That's how
That's
bad it is.
crazy.
It's just like, no, it's not her. It's not her.
Like you have to
Meanwhile,
look out
in
uncle like
4K,
yo nephew, that's you.
in
Nah, that's
4K,
somebody else.
that's her. Is that your girl? Nah, it's
It
not.
ended in the most Westbrook way possible, bruh.
That's
35 seconds ago, I said, hey, let's say something good about Westbrook. I said 27 points, and we haven't gotten anything good after that.
No, bro.
12 for 16 shooting. Don't say anything bad yet.
Thank
12
you.
for 16 shooting, 75% from the field goal. Field goal percentage. So he had a great shooting night, not from the line, but only shot 5 times. So I'm not really gonna count it. 10 assists. Not even gonna mention the turnovers, but let's just let's just move past.
That's the first thing I saw. I was like 27.
Hey, let's
5
just-
of them Jones.
let's-
All right,
NBA is investigating Ja Morant after he appeared to display a gun on Instagram Live while at night.
Okay, Shams.
we
break
knew that.
that news.
I knew that.
Yeah,
Broke-
Mother's Day.
broke-
Yeah, we got
broke
Adrian
news on the pod.
Wojnarowski
All
on
right,
here.
man.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
Woj over here.
Way to
Yeah.
be ready. Way to be
Exactly.
Trey
ready.
Woj dropping the bombs.
T-Woj.
Yeah.
But all right, man. Let's move on because I don't want to talk about no more.
I just don't want to talk about wrestling anymore. Like,
Yeah.
just because there's honestly
love him.
nothing.
It's I still love him, bro. I still love him. I can't.
He gonna get right.
That's her. That's your girl.
He what?
That's her.
He what?
That's yours.
Yeah.
That's the prayer you gotta pray.
I love it. I'm gonna stick beside it.
I already prayed my prayer, and it came true.
Jeez.
And you want to know how much of a
Yeah, he's
that's,
like,
that's
I
a
just
wild
gotta get Shorty out of my
statement.
life.
You prayed and it came true. What was the
did.
prayer?
No.
That Russell Westbrook would get traded from the Lakers.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
thought it
something
was
else.
way worse than that.
Yeah. I was like
Man.
I already prayed my prayer.
to
I had
expose
I
Russ
had
as
to go-
trash. That's what I thought you were about to say. I was about to be like, all right,
You had an
I
agenda.
had to go through a year and a half of my time in the wilderness.
in the wilderness.
man. Now he's John the
Had to go
Baptist.
find. Had to go find myself.
This man been preaching the trees. All right, man. All right, let's move on. We got some good things to talk about on the Eastern Conference. We spent all the time on the West. Milwaukee Bucks have won 16 straight.
That's a lot of
16
games.
straight.
A lot of
Clap
games.
it up for them, man. At some point, we haven't really spent that much time on them because I don't know. It's kind of weird to be playing this well. Feels normal, and we have done this to certain teams, and we have done to certain players. And this is, I think, how we treat Giannis to some extent. Giannis is just that elite to the point where it's just
It's
normal.
expected.
It's just normal at this point.
bro.
Yep.
What you
Yeah.
lose? What?
And so I think while Boston is a favorite coming out the East, Milwaukee is definitely showing something that can have them as a two-time champion core again.
Yeah, they're contenders, like legit contenders. Giannis is the best player in the world. I'm just gonna say that and leave that there. That's just the way I feel about in terms of how we're gonna approach his winning or this last streak.
Yeah.
It's because every time he steps onto the floor, they have the best player on the floor. And it's not that crazy to rip off a 10-game streak or 15-game streak when you have a team that's catered and built around that best player. All the questions we have for the Bucks aren't in the regular season. They're in the postseason. They're not a question of can they get past the hump or something like that. He has a chip. He has championship pedigree, championship experience, a good head coach, regardless of how we felt about him before that chip. I mean, he was on the chopping block.
He is good.
If everybody's healthy,
I'll leave it at good.
I'll leave it at
The
good.
best player in the world.
He's
good.
I think it's just kind of common sense. Like, everything's adding up. They're not a bad NBA team.
They're not a bad NBA team.
They're one of the best NBA teams. They don't have the sexiest names on the roster, top to bottom, but they play great basketball. Yeah. They know what their spirit or their identity is, and they play behind that each and every time. When I watch the Bucks play basketball, I see Bucks basketball every single last night. I don't see a different variation. I don't see too many tweaks. And mind you, that's why we have these kind of like feelings toward the coach Budenholzer, because we felt like he didn't make adjustments enough. Now with the chip, there's a little bit more security, a little bit less pressure on him. From what I see, now it makes a whole lot of sense. Bucks stay the Bucks until it doesn't work anymore or until it's broken completely. Yeah. And we will only see that in the playoffs. So in the regular season, if you have a philosophy, you have an identity, ripping off 10 games in a row, 15 games in a row, if you're an elite team, isn't that crazy?
In the East, too.
I mean, the Nets just ripped off like a 14-game win streak this year when they had KD, Kyrie. And mind you, that was coming back off of like turmoil and all of the Kyrie stuff. Yeah, so ripping off 15, 16 games straight, I'm not trying to like minimize it, but when you're elite and when you're somebody who I'm saying is the best player in the world, and that at least nobody is going to yell at me for saying that, I'm not going to clap my hands for 15 games in a row. I'll see you in the postseason, and we'll figure out stuff then.
Okay, so it's norm and not big news, not a big deal to anybody.
It's impressive, but it's
I think it's maybe at the beginning of the season it's like, okay, they came off hot start. It's something that you could really talk about, but like where after All-Star break is what's the playoffs look like? Like everything right now is talking about what does this set up playoff wise. So you could probably run off 20 for real, get to the playoff, lose that first home game. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that 20 didn't matter at all then.
So that's the only, I think the timing of it. I think it is impressive, but you do it, and I think, you know what, I'll give him some praise. I think it's really good to do it at the end. We're gonna ramp it up, and we're gonna go into the postseason solid.
No, facts.
And it's where they could be I'm not saying chilling, but like they could just be
resting, preparing, because they know they're gonna be a top 4 seed regardless.
Yeah. They're set. So for them to do that, I give them praise. Now, hopefully it just carries into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which I think they have no problem.
B, you got anything? Trey, you got anything?
I'm just going through looking at their stats. I mean,
oh man, we got another stat, man. They're both sitting on the end, bro. Brian doing the same thing.
Just in this quarter, holding opponents to 45% for field goal, only allowing 34% for threes is 5th best in the league. Holding teams to 22.9 assists per game, which is 2nd best in the league, and handed their opponents of average plus minus of about 10 points a game. They're just rolling. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary. I mean, the thing is, we've seen this and we're accustomed to it, and we're kind of just looking forward to Eastern Conference Finals between them and the Celtics at this point.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's how they're stamping it.
It's a 2-man race in the East right now.
It's a 2-man race. Nobody else makes me think about them or anything like that. It's those two teams, and then it's like, we start talking about legacy. We start talking about Giannis. We start talking about, is any of this real when they're faced up against that? Because again, we know they have to see, one of the two perennial powers within the West, which might be the Warriors, which might be the Nuggets, to make us kind of move or get up out of our seat. But other than that, it's like, all right, the Bucks and the Celtics, and right now on the Western Conference is the Nuggets and the Warriors that we're looking at. And if we say if the Suns somehow slip in, the Suns are getting waxed somehow. So
pretty much, yeah. That's in the long run, that's the top of the NBA is that. I was looking up Chris Middleton's to just see how well he's been coming off back from his injury. So he's consistently playing. That's what I like. But he hasn't He hasn't touched over 30 minutes. So that's
Middleton.
Yeah, and mind you, they're gonna work him back in slowly.
He's only played 20 games.
Yeah, they're gonna work him back in slowly, but that's my biggest question mark for the Bucks. So over this stretch, he's been averaging close to like 16. But I can't sit here and say that's my number 2. Like as of right now, for the entirety of the year of the NBA year, it has been whether you're gonna take Drew Holiday or you're gonna take Brook Lopez as the Bucks being number 2. Shout out Brook Lopez, phenomenal defender this year.
Like,
great year.
Been a phenomenal defender the last few years.
Yeah, few years.
Been great.
Shout out Brook. But long story short is that the reason why I guess we're reacting like this is because this just seems like a top of the league team doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Memphis Grizzlies say Ja Morant will be away from the team for at least the next 2 games.
Let's talk to him. Let's just talk to him.
Yeah.
Let's just talk.
Yo, okay, since we back
Full
at Ja,
circle.
I did have a question. Do you think, and I know we were talking about like its responsibility as a face.
Yeah.
Do you think like a LeBron or a Chris Paul, like those people don't like have a conversation with him? Would you see that being part of their responsibility, or are you saying that's too far for me to like? Why would I go talk to him?
My bad. It's because I've answered this one with the same answer for like the last 3-4 weeks. They need vets in their locker room.
Well, yeah.
LeBron James has his own team, his own worries, his own. If this was Austin Reeves tripping, then yeah, got to talk to AK. But I mean AR, whichever one we gonna call him.
Lord.
But
the gun
I was about to
reference.
say it's kind of that was good wordplay.
Ja,
Right?
hey,
Barred up. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
But-
you all right?
since it's just Ja Morant, and it's the Grizzlies organization.
Yeah.
It's unfair to say that a star or face of the league or something should always have to be called upon to handle whatever is happening with all the young stars or young players across the league. This is why we need vets in your locker room. Because if Tyler Herro's tripping, Udonis Haslem gonna handle him. Like, that's just the way it works. So I was actually really upset. Well, not upset, but I was really sad to see when the Grizzlies Iguodala situation didn't work out. Mind you, that's on the Grizzlies. Because I thought that was the kind of player they needed specifically in that moment. This Grizzlies team is talented. They're a good team. With or without Ja, they're a good team, and they showed that. But if this is what it's going to be, like, nah, this ain't LeBron's, Kevin Durant's, or anybody else's headache. The Grizzlies need vets, and Ja needs to listen because this is common sense.
Yeah, in a perfect world, we would want LeBron James or Chris Paul to go and be like, hey, bro, chill out.
Yeah.
Like, we would want that.
If it takes Chris Paul or LeBron James,
He won't listen. Chris
I don't think you do either. But if it takes one of them to really calm down Ja Morant, then like, bro, what were you? You're not listening to anybody. Like,
and that's the point. And I think at some point, you a man, bro. Like
Nice.
you're a grown man. I'm not. I got my own kids.
Yeah.
If we talk about LeBron, if we talk about, I got my own children to worry about, to raise. I ain't got time to be trying to raise you in the league to make your 200 M's. Like, that's your 200 M's. That's your situation. You join this league. Right. You know what this league entails.
not facts.
Like, if you want to call me and inquire about some things, that's one thing. But I'm not about to be walking behind you. Be like,
I was about to say, I agree with that point. I think the faces of the league should be accessible.
especially when you're my competition.
Yeah,
I need you to
especially
lose
the
some
competition.
games. I
Yeah.
need this 10
Actually, I need you to make this mistake.
Like, Ja won't be with Memphis in the playoffs? Come on, man. Let's go for that 7 seed, baby. Let's get that 7 seed.
Very good. Very good.
It ain't none of my business. I'll hit him up in the offseason. Nah.
LeBron talking to Clutch Media right now. Y'all got any more fouls on him? Y'all got anything else on him?
Oh, be wild.
Release it.
So here it is with me, right? I think the question was, do you think he needed a veteran guy or somebody? Somebody in the league.
There's like a LeBron James type.
One of those faces.
So check it out. So it's 2 scenarios, and I'm a metaphor guy. I love it. It's like one, it's the cousin's crib, and then 2, it's like dropping your kid off at school. It's like, all right, cool, drop him off. Great, because looking at it, coming into it, a guy that's worked hard, like I keep saying this, came up, didn't have anything out of him other than, he's a hooper, he's dunking on people, he's ferocious, but other than that, we're good. Like, we haven't had any problems out of him. Yeah. Drop him off at school. That's cool. He's going to be great. He's going to play good with other kids. Ring, ring, ring. Hello. Can you come pick up such and such?
Yeah, he biting kid.
Why? And then
he passed her out.
And then, you know what the funniest thing? Anytime I got in trouble in school, the wildest part, hearing anybody get in trouble, it's reading what they did on wax.
Oh man, read that incident report
reading
or the
incident report or the referral.
Oh,
Those three sheets of paper.
Video evidence type of teacher.
But that yes, but just reading it out.
Take a look at this.
It's like, so such and such said, boom, 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 and you quote, or he decided to pull a gun out on Instagram Live and this. No, not mine. I dropped him off. Not mine. What are you talking about? Not mine.
What are we doing?
Ja Morant took his shades off when he ran that headline. He had to. My son did what?
What? Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, I haven't had any problem out of him. Who are you hanging around? What are you doing?
My baby.
Yeah. That's a conversation.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we haven't had any problem out of you until now. Who are you hanging
Like
around?
I said earlier,
You feeling yourself?
it's a reflection of the parents, of the Grizzlies, of everybody who's supposed to be
Quote, unquote, the parents, the Grizzlies.
authority figure over Ja Morant. I get it. He's a grown man. He doesn't represent just himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Going back to that metaphor real fast though, Trey, it's after they read that incident report and they walking back to the car with you, like, oh no. We gonna talk about it in the car.
Oh, now facts.
we gonna get
Quillivis talking
we
to you.
gonna
You
get
don't
to
see
this.
No mouth movement.
You
We
in
gonna
trouble
get to
for
this in a
dancing?
minute.
Dance now. Dance the whole way home. I'm gonna play this song in the car. You gonna dance the whole.
Bring it to the car.
Yep. Dance. Nay.
You want to fight somebody? All right.
No,
I'm gonna
facts.
show you a fight. Let's go.
So you did what possessed you to? Okay. Again, the first question.
I hate the red lights.
Have I ever taught you anything like that?
Can he come back to school? Oh, 2 days.
2 days.
You gonna love these 2 days too. You gonna love these 2 games.
So we all been through the same thing. Huh?
the whole experience.
This is collective black parent trauma.
Yes.
Collective black parent trauma.
Yeah, no, honestly,
Don't even look at you the whole
I
way
can
home.
say this. The benefit of all of this is if everything works out well, he doesn't take too much backlash or anything like this, I hope this is the hiccup. I hope this is the one thing that was just like, all right, I'm tripping. Let me get myself together.
These 2 days, relax.
Get paid.
Because if something happens after this, now I'm officially questioning Ja's character. It's like, bro, regardless of how big on the spectrum of you want to make this seem like to yourself, or I know homies who did worse or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know homies who got 200 million who play for the Grizzlies who decided to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, your story's unique, Ja. If anything absurd happens where it looks like he's trying to play this street kind of role again, or have this image for himself that is not on brand with the NBA, it's gonna be up from there. Like really, because the mistakes that have just been made. Now, granted, him and hitting the kid or whatever still up in the air. Don't have the details. Wasn't convicted or anything. Didn't see a video. I can't really say much about that. But the fact that report has just been dropped 10, 15, 20 times over the last day or two, I put it in the Discord, and everybody was like, nah, I don't gotta talk about that. The very next day, he's showing a gun on Instagram Live. So, with that being said, if this isn't a full circle, I need to get myself together moment, then Ja Morant, you're kind of like pissing on the opportunity that you had, and it's kind of really disrespectful to all the other players in the world, not even just in the league. So I hope that you're really protecting this opportunity, and that you're gonna look at this regardless of however you already do, and realize whether you think you're right or wrong, there's a way that you have to actually move on and handle this. Regardless of right or wrong, there's a proper way to handle this.
Somebody call Zach Randolph.
And
somebody call Zebo, honestly.
And
that's a great call.
And to be honest about it, and you kind of, in terms of the one thing we did not bring up or we did not talk about was the fact that we are really, the NBA, any professional sports, they're really being thrusted into a completely new world. And if everyone around you is not prepared for what that new world can entail, then you can have moments like these, which is why I'm with you. Like, I'm not ready to just write Ja off. I'm not, because not everyone's coming into this with the same foundation or background to handle what it means to get 200 M's.
200, man.
Like, and be a face of a league, a face of a team in a whole city. Like, you are the guy in a whole major market city in the US of A.
And mind you, it's Memphis, so it ain't like you're competing with other sports.
Nah.
Like, what we gonna do? Like, it's just Memphis Grizzlies.
We
That's
going
the biggest.
to a Grizzlies
It's
game,
Memphis
bro.
and the strip clubs.
That's it.
And so,
That's it.
And so because of that situation, then we have to acknowledge the fact that there's some level of grace there. There's some level of grace there that we have to have for certain players and for these young players, and understand that they do need some foundation. They do need some level of like, all right, look, when you get here, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to move. Be mindful of this. Be mindful of that. Hey, when you get to this place, this ain't for you. This ain't like guidelines somewhere.
And that's
guidelines.
That's why I'm
and going back.
But that's vets and more so. And I'm actually gonna tip my hat off to the NBA. The NBA has programs and stuff like that set up. Like, it's not like 2002, 2003 when people were just going broke because there wasn't, because of information, because of knowledge. That's not what's happening. Everything that we're seeing right now isn't because of lack of resources. And that's not just from like Ja Morant. We can go back to Miles Bridges, which is why I always say, well, with Ja, it's easy for me to say, hey, I'm not going to question your character off of this. Because there's people where I'm just like, I would like to see them reform or something like that where it was 1,000 times worse. Yeah. This isn't murder. Even him fighting the kid, have to have the full story. But the NBA has these programs and procedures set up, so you need to utilize them. Exactly. Listen, educate yourself. It's at the end of the day, I'm gonna treat it like how I treat Black history or how I treat any kind of racial conversations I'm having with white people. I don't, because I'm not educating you. It's not my job. There's the internet, there's the books, there's everything that you need to have. The NBA does educate you. They go way further than I would. Mm-hmm. You have the money to go hire an accountant for financial literacy. You have the money to seek out a team to do this properly yourself. And we have the general knowledge that we need this stuff. It's not 01 where you just get $50 million and nobody told you need to have a bank account. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like the players are getting treated like that. So if you're not utilizing the resources that's given to you to help you through all of this, because they are there. And that's why I'm saying at a certain point, real quickly, I'm going to start questioning your character, because you have to start ignoring a lot of things before you start doing this.
Yeah, I feel you. Anything else?
I mean, I was going to give my Bucks take, but we went off on a side turn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I dropped the news.
You dropped it.
I ain't really mad at it.
All right, what's your Bucks take? We getting out of here.
Nah, I've been, like I said, I think at the beginning of the year I said I wasn't really high on the Bucks. Like, because I think there's just some flaws within that team that I believe still honestly exist. The Chris Middleton point is still kind of there. The Jay Crowder pickup was huge for them. Joe Ingles has come back. He's been playing fairly well for them as well.
Real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off. Can we respect that Drew Holiday is like
hooping?
He takes care of his wife.
No, he's elevated. He's elevated this season to some extent.
This has been one of the best seasons he played. I mean, when he got that All-Star nod, I was like, I'm not even gonna get mad.
He deserved it. Like, he deserved it. He's having a heck of a year. Like, done everything that they beat him.
Drew Holiday for sure.
Even when Giannis has missed game, they beat the Suns with Drew like being the one essentially. Like, Drew has done everything that's been asked of them.
Yeah, this year he's averaging 25 and 7 off of 47% shooting.
Like, phenomenal.
Drew?
Yeah, Drew. I'm just saying.
25 and
25 and 7.
Oh, 25.
Oh, 25.
I thought you said 25 points.
Nah, bro. We would have been talking about Drew Holiday a whole lot more.
He said, what?
But I think it's like 22 over the last 16, 22 and 8 over the last 16 games.
I do think there are still question marks for them in the playoffs, because we've gotten to the point now where Giannis is, I've said it a number of times, he's the most physically dominant player in the NBA, bar none. Yep. There's nobody that can physically dominate a game like Giannis. And that has been proven before they won titles to be extremely difficult to stop in the regular season, because teams can't prepare for you the way they can in the playoffs. We've seen that almost every playoff run they've had. So now, once again, they're running their system. Budenholzer sticks to his system to a T.
True fact.
They run what they run, and it's successful. As long as you have a healthy Giannis, you will be successful running this system. When we get to the playoffs, however, teams are going to build a wall. Granted, Giannis has gotten better at beating it, but they're going to build a wall, and they're going to make others beat them. Last year, Giannis played well against the Celtics for the most part. He had a clunker here or there, but for the most part, he played really well. Played really well. But it wasn't enough.
And they were like the league's best defense.
And they were the league's best defense last year. And granted, we watched them stifle KD and Kyrie and everybody else except for Steph. But with that being said, I'm so curious to see how they play in the playoffs. I still think they don't have a ton of athleticism on this roster outside of Giannis. I don't think they have a ton of really good wings. Chris Middleton has to come back and play at the level he played on.
He has to average like 22.
Like, he has to, because they don't have, like, if you're counting on 35-year-old Joe Ingles and Jay Crowder to stop Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and they're going to have to score with them as well, I just don't think that's a recipe for success. So, and once again, I don't trust Budenholzer in the playoff series.
I don't blame him.
I just don't. Like, I've watched it time and time again.
And
he does not make adjustments when he needs to.
And so we're willing to trust Joe Mazzulla in his first year?
I don't know. That's a question mark, because I've never seen it.
That's a big question mark. I mean, and I showed some signs of it in terms of, and they just kind of laid an egg in that second half versus Brooklyn. I think that was Brooklyn. They blew.
Oh, they just blew that lead last night. Yeah, that massively ended up losing by like what, 10?
But
yeah,
that's why I'm like, okay.
Shout out Mikal Bridges.
Shout out Mikal Bridges.
Yeah,
and Cam.
Mikal.
I think Cam had a crazy game that night too. But yeah, like question marks like Joe Mazzulla in his first playoff series. First playoff appearance as a head coach, because at this point you can't just keep running Ime Udoka stuff. You're gonna have to adjust to. And then coming back off that, in terms of, okay, what version of Boston are we gonna get? Are we gonna get the defensive minded Boston, or are we gonna get the offensive minded Boston? Because there's two sides of them. We've seen both sides this season. And so, which version are we gonna get? The one that got you to the finals last year was the defensive version. That's the quote unquote Ime Udoka version.
This year they've leaned very heavily into offense.
Right. And so I'm curious, because if it's the offensive side, then I think their lax offense versus a team like Giannis, or a player like Giannis, and a team like the Bucks is very dangerous to be playing with. That's fire you don't want to play with.
I mean, in Boston's defense, they are the 5th ranked defense in the league, though. It's not like they're a bad defense.
Not bad, but we've definitely seen.
But they're not what they were defensively last year. I will give you that.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I think the East is easier this season.
I mean, with Kevin Durant and Kyrie leaving Brooklyn, it has definitely made the
road is easier.
A little bit easier. It all comes down to how much faith do you really have in Philly? Do you think Cleveland is ready? Oh, hey man, you want to give another team a shout out?
Yeah, I'm listening.
The Knicks, baby.
No, shout out the Knicks. No, shout out the Knicks. I've given them a lot of hit. Nah, I'll shout them out.
Yeah, shout
out the Knicks. Shout out the Knicks. Shout out the Knicks. I've hated the Knicks on this podcast every single time.
And I'm going to continue. Shout out Jalen Brunson.
I'm not going to stop.
Shout out Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
They've won 8 in a row.
Yeah, they're sitting at the 5 seed.
Shout out tampering.
8-game winning streak. 9-1 in the last 10.
Shout out tampering. Shout out Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, shout out
Josh Hart. They haven't lost since they got him. Shout out Julius Randle for hitting that game winner last night. It was an ugly left-handed floater from the wing. It looked lucky, but shout out to him. How can I hate on the Knicks without shouting them out? Shout out to the Knicks for Kevin Durant and Kyrie leaving. So now that y'all are actually the best team in New York, barely, literally by 1 seed.
We could just
shout out to the Knicks, because they're going to be right back to being trash at the start of this year next year. Why? Because that's what they do.
Just start from scratch.
Just pile it on.
Shout out the Knicks.
No. I mean, honestly, the Knicks are playing good basketball, but that has to.
For now,
they are playing good basketball greatly due to the fact that Jalen Brunson is that guy. Apparently, I thought you were going to tell me he was on steroids or something. I was like, what's that guy?
They made a good move in the offseason?
Is that guy?
We're giving him hate for making a good move in the offseason?
I wasn't.
Like I said.
I'm just hating.
Shout out tampering.
I don't have a reason.
Was the Josh Hart pick up a good move?
Tamper.
Shout out
Villanova.
So what we're saying is they made a series of moves back to back that have been good for their franchise.
Hey man, as Tamon says, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, dog. You know what I mean? Like you went and signed old boy's pops. Then
Jalen Brunson was tampering. Okay, that was tampering. Easily tampering. We get it.
Go to McDonald's.
No, honestly,
number 10. It's gonna be money in the bag.
It's gonna be money in the bag.
Simple as that.
This sounds like business in basketball world to me. That's why I'm here.
No, I think
business is business.
Like LeBron doesn't tamper.
Honest to God, Dallas should be kicking themselves in the butt. The fact that they
didn't know what was happening,
and the fact that they could have. I think the story is they could have signed him for what, $50 million.
Dallas looks crazy right now.
Oh yeah,
originally before the season started.
Yeah, before the season started.
Before the season started, could sign for $50 million. Could have him locked down for what, 4 years.
Reverse Dennis Schroeder. It happens.
You know,
it's gonna happen every year. Somebody's gonna sign a bad contract, or somebody's gonna give up a good one.
So,
hey, Knicks, I tried to give y'all props, man. Y'all playing fairly well right now.
Y'all playing well.
Who they play lately, man? Who's the last 5?
They played Miami last night.
Their last 5. Ooh, I'm gonna try to hate on it anyway. I haven't seen it yet.
I got you.
All right, their last 5 has been they won at the Heat, Nets, Celtics, Pelicans, Wizards. It's a nice mix. Hawks, Nets, Jazz. All right, I'm gonna hate on this one. Let's skip a couple games. All right, Wizards, Hawks, Nets, Jazz, and Nets again. I don't know. The last 10, 8 should have been easily won.
Good bet.
They beat Philly the other night.
Hey, you can string 10.
You can string 10
That's
if
crazy.
you're a
You
decent
can
team.
string 10.
Nah, I'm just hating on the Knicks. I'm just hating on the Knicks.
This is.
Now we can get out of here. I don't got much more.
Yeah, let's get out of here, man. Want to say thank you to the homies, man. Trey, AJ pulled up, man. Y'all go ahead and plug the pot.
Oh, yeah,
This is your
shameless
moment.
plug
Shameless
right
plug
here.
it. Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Your time.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Minor and Hoops. Been waiting to do this for a long time. If you're into other podcasts, we have the Just Action podcast.
Yes, sir.
End of the day, it's just action. You're looking to better your life. I feel like that's what we're talking about most of the time. Trying to find ways to just take action on whatever you're doing in life. So tune into that. That's we'll plug. Okay, yeah, we'll put some stuff.
We got you.
Do it. He gonna do it.
And we'll do it from there. But yeah, shout out to y'all, man. I said it from the jump. I'll put it on camera too. Y'all doing some real cool stuff.
Appreciate it.
I respect it. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me, y'all. I was talking to AJ before the pod. Like, everybody's doing big stuff, man. We keeping it going, keeping it in-house. I don't have a podcast home right now, but you can follow me, Trey XXIV. That's TREDAYXXIV, like 24 for Kobe. So I come and I talk with my friends about stuff. Once I find a podcast home, I'll come and, chill a little bit more. But I'm DJing as well, so come find me in the city. Just follow me, find me, and let's keep it going. But love for having me. Thank you, guys.
Always, man. Always. Tamon, tell the people what we getting into right here in Petersburg, man.
All right, man. We have our great special guest here for a very special reason. We're going to be doing play-by-play and color commentary at the Small College National Championship. So shout out my man Ron. Got us the gig, working the tables there. You're going to see the full Minor and Hoops crew, March 13th through the 15th, all day. Just pick a day. We're going to be at the Richard Bland College location. There's also going to be a location at VSU, but you know which one to come to. Come through, hear from us. We're going to be doing exactly this, kind of, but just doing a live game, something like that. Sponsorships as well in terms of shouting them out. Actually, no, I didn't get a list yet, so nope, not even going to do that early. Nope, they're going to get another video. I said I'll make a video, but they didn't get the list. But that's pretty much it. I would love for everybody to come out there, show your support. If you love basketball, it's going to be great hoops. If you don't love basketball, you love us. So just please come out. Show your support. Listen to me say something funny or mess up. We're going to see. I'm not going to mess up. I never do. All right, that's all I got.
This man is something different.
Great ad.
Yeah, he's great.
Great ad. That's tough.
If it's one thing I could do, I could wrap up a show.
Any shout outs, hoop shout outs? We got play y'all want to shout out, team y'all want to shout out real quick. You already wasted yours on the Knicks. Nah, go ahead. You get another one.
Y'all got it.
Anybody else?
To the turmoil in the A.
The turmoil in the A.
We're going to get it right.
Yeah.
We hope so.
Hey, shout out to the home team, man. VCU Hoops, man. Hope going into the A10, number 1 seed, regular season champion. So hopefully we can get it done and get that big because we're a dangerous team right now, a very dangerous team. So
facts.
See what happens.
I'll give a shout out because this is hating if we don't because this is the city.
Yeah, you got to.
I got
you got to.
Coach of the
I was
year,
gonna do it. I was
T.
gonna-
White. Coach of the year.
Yes,
Coach of the year.
John Marshall. over
Can't
there.
hate. You used to run those hallways. I ain't go to the school. I just went to the school next to it. Big shout out T. White, legendary basketball persona, personality, character, coach in Richmond, Petersburg area. Carolina heard of him too. Team Loaded, that's T. White. So if you haven't heard of T. White specifically, I know you heard of Team Loaded, whether it's going to be Petersburg, Richmond, Carolina, you've heard of them.
Yeah.
So big shout out to him. He's been doing this thing in the Richmond area for like, what, I don't know, over
Since
decades, but like, since I was a little one. Since I was a little one. Like, that's been a lot of people who I've known first, like, AAU experience is connecting with T. White.
Absolutely.
Like, literally driving out to Petersburg from Richmond. So, big shout out to him, everything he's done in the basketball world, at John Marshall especially, and just throughout the city of Richmond. Can't give you enough flowers. Coach of the year for a reason. Shout out to him. Shout out John Marshall.
Big
Yeah, shout out to Richmond Hoops, man. Richmond finally getting love on a national scale. Like, Richmond got ballers.
804 got some of the best hoopers in the world. Virginia got the best hoopers in the U.S. if you ask me. 804 specifically, if we had to pick an area code, I think has some of the best hoopers in the nation.
Yeah, like it's really nice out here. So it's good to see it. It's good to see all the love and all the recognition that Richmond's getting, John Marshall's getting, T. White's getting. So yeah, dog. Appreciate y'all. I want to say shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. We are at 500 subscribers because of y'all, man. And we thank y'all, man. This pod is no fun unless people want to talk to us about it. And we glad that there are people here that enjoy doing the pod, and we glad that you are watching and you are chiming in, giving your 2 cents, whether you agree with us or disagree with us. If you ask Tamon, he's never wrong, but you telling him he's wrong, telling us we're wrong, we appreciate you. So continue to join the conversation. Continue to watch the show. Continue to support. We're going to continue to try to make great content for y'all. And as always, eat, sleep, breathe the game. Be safe. Be out.
Yes, sir.